What are some weird laws your country has? In Madhya Pradesh, India, male policemen with mustaches get a bonus of 30 rupees in their monthly salary. For those wondering, 30 rupees is 40 cents. Child molesters may be sent to jail for up to 3 years. Software pirates for up to 5 years. I think that's kinda fked up. One affects rich people. One statistically affects poor people more. It's illegal to own a rabbit unless you can prove you're a magician, circus performer or scientist. Queensland, Australia. This is mostly to prevent another invasive species from wreaking havoc in the natural Australian environment. South Korea. You can be found guilty of defamation even if the statement is true. A number of European countries are similar, last I checked. It's not a law, but a couple of years ago in Ireland they were reforming the drug laws, and I'm not entirely sure exactly what happened, but some sort of loophole made ecstasy and shrooms legal for 24 hours. Fun times. Ireland had another one for a while where 2 kids under the age of consent could have sex. But if they attempted to have sex and failed, didn't go through with it, it was a crime. Wasn't ever enforced or anything. Was just one of those technicalities people figured out and had a laugh at. In Wisconsin, it's illegal to serve margarine at restaurants unless customers explicitly ask for it. Asterisk. Violators face up to $500 fines and 3 months behind bars. Subsequent offenses can get you up to a $1,000 fine and a year in jail. They take dairy seriously. I'd like this law to be honest. Or at least make it so they are required to be honest if my butter toast has margarine on it. Ontario, Canada. If you don't pay your hotel bill in Ontario, the hotel can legally sell your horse. I misread this as house. UK. It's illegal to die in the Houses of Parliament. The Reaper. PLS die, you are 10,000 years old now. The British. I ain't breaking the laws of the Queen. It is against the law to have a sleeping donkey in your bathtub after 7 PM Arizona. Can you provide a legal citation for this law? Most of these ridiculous laws are just made up by people on the internet. It's illegal to give a kangaroo a 6-pack of beers or more, but if you give it 5, that's completely legal. You can't hunt whales in Utah, USA. It's a landlocked state. I'm pretty sure you can't do that anywhere as the US unless it's for science. In Singapore, it's illegal to have butt sex. In Missouri it used to be illegal to have oral sex. When I was a teenager, this couple, married 11 years, was actually jailed for it. A neighbor had just walked into their house, caught them, then called the police. My mother said that folks who did things like that should be shot. Later I found out that it was to deter gay people. How stupid can folks be? You can't act suspiciously with a salmon. No. Dude. The phrasing is handling salmon in suspicious circumstances. That means, if your salmon was likely to have been poached, you can go to jail even if you didn't poach it yourself. The UK is a small island. You can't let everyone there go and poach wildlife or there won't be any left. In France, a trash can is considered as a deadly weapon. According to French jurisprudence, if you ever come to France one day, be careful of garbage collectors. Close bracket. From what I heard, it is also illegal to name a pig Napoleon. It's an old law implemented by you will never guess who. When my friends and I were 15, we bought some cheap kites at the dollar store and decided to take them with us downtown. We live in Chicago, and fly them. We started trying to fly them by the Art Institute Millennium Park when we got stopped by a cop. He told us that kites were not allowed to be flown anywhere in the downtown area, and if he saw us doing it again he would give us a $250 citation. It seemed kind of weird since both Millennium and Grant Park, along with the smaller parks, were in the downtown area. But we didn't argue. Years later I found out that it actually was an obscure law, but a law that was repealed in the 1970s. So, we were fine flying our kites and that cop just didn't like us having fun. You cannot hurt a whale before you kill it. It does make sense if you think about it. So how do you kill it without hurting it? Or is that the point? In my state, we have a law that if a car startles a horse, the car has to be dismantled and hidden in the grass. Young PPL nowadays with their fancy cars. What's wrong about good old horses? Double quote. Yesterday one of those ashats even dared to startle my horse. It took half an hour to calm Jerome down. Double quote. Next time we dismantle his car and hide it in the grass, maybe we should make it a law. 2. Double quote. In Victoria, you can't vacuum after 10 PM and you must be a licensed electrician to change a light bulb. I wish the vacuum law is implemented everywhere. Canada here. It is specified that saying sorry isn't an admission of guilt in case of a road accident. It makes perfectly sense. After an accident it isn't always immediately clear whose fault it is, so people might apologize and you don't want that to be used against them. I'm allowed to shoot a Scottish person within the walls of York provided he is carrying a bow and arrow. How to make money. 1. Marry a rich Scot. 2. Go on vacation to York. 3. Ask them to hold your bow and arrow. 4. Murder them. 5. Profit. Scotland has 3 court verdicts. Not guilty, guilty, and not proven. The third basically means we know you likely did it, but we can't actually prove it. Double quote. Either US we have acquittals. It means there's not enough evidence to convict you but we're looking at you suspiciously. Lol, I don't live there anymore. I moved recently because of the coronavirus. Nor was I actually from the country. But it was recent made illegal to say the words coronavirus COVID-19. The whole country was pretty messed up. Full stop. Full stop. I'm happy to have left. It was the last flight out the country and it had to be charted. Full stop. Full stop. You don't go to jail for smoking. Having. Growing Mary Jane for yourself, but if you sold it you do. In Colorado, United States, first state to legalize MJ for recreational use, same thing. Because it's taxed now. You need a license to sell it so Uncle Sam can get his money. Otherwise you're essentially a bootlegger. As one of the laws added for COVID, you cannot buy cigarettes. If I don't remember wrong, they did that in Vatican City a couple years ago. It's even more stupid because you can just walk for a few minutes. Go to Rome and buy the cigarettes. You may lose your driver's license for riding your bicycle drunken. So you have to take a bike instead of your car. Has to do with the definition on bikes being vehicles. And drunk driving being defined as intoxicated while driving a vehicle. The law is still on the books. But individual cases have been successfully appealed. Ike. Voting is mandatory. You get fined if you don't. That's actually kinda sorta understandable. Weird. Yes. But understandable nonetheless. I would love to see the silent majorities voting. That would be interesting AF. Stupid laws of divorce that make no one dare marry. 1. If you are a woman, you can't divorce your husband without your husband's permission. Simply. You don't have the control of your own life. 2. If you are a man, then you have to pay a lot of money to your wife if you want divorce. And by allet, I mean allet. Even if you don't want to divorce your wife has the right to claim that money, and if you don't or can't pay her that money you will go to jail. There are thousands of men in the jail because of Ma. There are so many stupid and sexist laws in this country. The windows of your convertible have to closed. But the roof itself not. Otherwise you risk that they take it to security to protect your property. You cannot physically prevent a cop from objectively and illegally murdering someone. Or, rather, you cannot prevent a cop from objectively committing a crime. If you see a cop committing a crime and try to stop them physically, they can legally and objectively murder you. Cops can be convicted of murder, but they are justified in killing you if you assault them to stop them from carrying it out. This is probably a gross misunderstanding of the law. Unless you're talking about an incredibly backwards country. Where I'm from, you can't cool anything lower than -273 15c. Really weird and I never understood it. Lisa. In this house we obey the laws of thermodynamics. It is illegal to dress up as Robin and Batman. It's illegal to whisper into someone's ear while moose hunting in Alaska. Maybe some lord missed his moose because an idiot whispered to him. Then got mad and made that law. TV licenses in the UK. Not sure if they have them in other countries too. You told us you didn't need a TV license 6 months ago. But we'd like to find out again if we can subtly pressure and frighten you into thinking you have a legal requirement to pay us you accrued $130 a year. Are you sure you don't want to pay us? Let us know if you would like to continue not paying us though. Apostrophe. In California. It is illegal to eat an orange in your bathtub. United States. Not on the mainland. But on the Norwegian archipelago Svalbard it is illegal to die. If you are dying you must be flown over to the mainland to die there. Or you'll break the law. I think you're also not legally allowed to stay, or arrive disembark, if you are sick. Or require medical attention beyond superficial treatment. For some reason it's unfeasible to set up a permanent treatment facility for all the 2,600 people there. In my state you can't keep a horse in a bathtub SC. Bulletproof vests are a category E weapon here in Australia plus our firearms laws are a f-king joke but I can buy a crossbow which is 1. Silent and 2. Just as lethal as a firearm and I don't need a license to buy one. I could go on all day about our stupid firearm laws. It's the same where I live. There is a provincial law banning bulletproof clothing. But I can basically open carry a short barreled shotgun loaded with buckshot. Greetings from Canada. In Mexico. Specifically in Hidalgo. If you go to a party that you weren't invited to, the party organizer can call the police and you may be in jail for about 3 days. Since repealed. But up until a couple of years ago it was illegal to pretend to practice witchcraft in Canada. Argentina. The 7th son in a daughterless family has the right to be president's godchildren. Rich bankers don't have to go to jail for stealing billions. It is against the law to import second-hand clothes. And women in the army have to pass a virginity test. I'm from Denmark. If someone walks across the ice from Sweden you are by the law allowed to hit them. It's an old one, don't know if it is still in effect. I can, as an Englishman, shoot a bow and arrow at a Scottish man in the city of York. But not on Sundays. And I can shoot a Welshman with a longbow after midnight in Chester. I mean you can't. This is a myth with vague historical precedent that holds no sway over current murder or manslaughter laws. In Toronto, Canada, it's against the law to swear in a public park. For obstructing peace. I've never heard of anyone getting charged for it. But it's there. It is illegal to cross the border between Minnesota and Wisconsin with a duck on your head or an ice cream cone in your pocket. You're also not allowed to have ice cream in your pocket in Kentucky. New Zealand doesn't let us have personal gardens. It's weird. That's not quite true though. Is it? People have gardens. You just can't grow whatever the FCK you want. Because there are pretty strict laws protecting NZ's natural ecosystem. Kazakhstan. All presidents can serve only 2-3 times, 7 years each. Except the first president. New Russian constitutional amendment let Putin rule till 2036. Not sure if this would count since it's a law in my state and the USA, but we have a law to where it's illegal to use elephants to plow fields in North Carolina. I'm guessing some guy tried to do it back when they were colonizing North Carolina or something. Journalists. We have a special jail for journalists. You are stealing. Right to jail. You are playing music too loud. Right to jail. Right away. Driving too fast. Jail. Slow. Jail. You are charging too high prices for sweaters. Glasses. You right to jail. You undercook fish? Believe it or not. Jail. You overcook chicken. Also jail. Undercook. Overcook. You make an appointment with a dentist and you don't show up. Believe it or not. Jail. Right away. We have the best patients in the world because of jail. It is illegal to wash your hands between 2 and 2:10 in the morning in some places in Goa. Corporations are people. In Mexican law, corporations, associations and churches are moral persons while persons are defined as physical persons. It is legal to kill a Welshman within the city walls of Chester after sundown. It is legal to kill a Scotsman within the walls of York. Whatever time of the day it is. It is illegal to beat drugs on a Sunday. It is illegal to enter the Houses of Parliament in plate mail. There's a city in my country that has a law saying monsters are prohibited. They say IST because the mayor's youngest son was afraid of monsters, so he decided to create this law to calm him down. 1. No gays or transgenders allowed. 2. All women must wear a hijab, even tourists. 3. Women weren't allowed to drive until 2017. There was a law stating that women aren't allowed to drive. But the king removed that law in 2017. I still don't get why sodomy is illegal anywhere. Isn't it weird that there's people who believe that what happens between two consenting adults is any of their f***ing business? At all? I think that's disgusting. Okay. Don't do it then edit. How the FCK did that get downvoted? In the US technically equality according to Essex still does not exist, since the Equal Rights Amendment has not been ratified. Until a couple of years ago it was illegal to pretend to practice witchcraft in Canada. Not anymore though. Now you can play sorcerer all you want. Actually practicing witchcraft has always been a right in this country apparently. In America if you use a sperm donation to have children then you can sue the donator for child support, which I think is bullshit. Candidates don't win by getting the most votes by actual voters. They win by campaigning in a few choice locations while the rest of the country just gets ignored because they always vote one color over the other. The winner could actually have way less votes than the loser. Sad. Really. In York, England, it is legal to shoot a Scotsman with a bow and arrow on Sunday. Being Scottish, I don't go to York. California. Anyone that is in your house for 3 days is legally a resident and does not have to leave when asked. Found this out the hard way. Not the whole country, but in my city it is illegal to start your own car. It's not enforced because it goes back to the cars you have to crank to start. Too many people were running themselves over. In the UK you can't have a bath with a donkey horse. Looks like I've got to change my plans for this evening.